The world-famous Danish master archer Lars Andersen trying to reinvent historical archery. Sadly, a lot of our so-called knowledge about archery is wrong. In movies, archers always release their arrows at the same time. That's silly, as it means fewer arrows and more energy wasted in keeping the bows drawn. Also, an enemy would just lift his shield, making it a total waste of arrows. Guns are fired all at once for shock effect, as they can fire through shields. Lacking knowledge about archery, filmmakers just assumed that bows and guns were used in the same way. A bullet is small and flies fast, while an arrow is big and flies slow. Lars is fast, so he can easily avoid arrows, but can anyone do that? We've tested Nick Birmingham's 115-pound longbow, and Lars has constructed some safe practice arrows that fly with the same speed. It's easy to avoid being hit at 30 meters, and even faster arrows are easy to avoid as well. With a shield, you can even block arrows at 10 meters distance. And of course, anyone can easily avoid arrows at a long distance. Because arrows fly slowly, bows are very different from guns. An archer must be able to move and shoot rapidly. We know from tribal warfare and from texts describing war archery that an archer that stands still and shoots slowly is useless. Fast shooting is the only way to get past it. Historical archers shot at stationary targets, some at a distance and some up close, since archery was also used in close combat. But since arrows are slow and enemies move, historical archers would train on moving targets and while being in motion themselves. But they never used the well-known round target with separation lines. It's in fact only a couple of centuries old. And that modern target archery means slow, unmoving shooting at a cardboard target happened purely by chance. Imagine if sword fighting had evolved the same way. In war, you need to be able to handle all weapons, including bows and arrows. For this reason, historical bows consisted only of string and bow and nothing else. All the new stuff is problematic for the war archer. History supplies us with examples of archers who train trick shooting, like shooting several arrows at once, or hitting small birds in flight, changing the flight direction in midair. Both ways around a target. Yes, it can be done. This kind of archery used to be widespread, but has disappeared long ago, since it has next to nothing to do with modern, technical target archery. Historical archery is all about instinct, and is very hard to learn for modern archers. But people without any archery training can easily learn it. It just takes a few hours to get started. Archers used to do trick shooting as a way of training for improvisation during battle. If you have done advanced trick shooting, then you find that all armor has a weak point. War is evil, and if a warrior rides at you on a horse, as often happens on film, you of course shoot the horse. A famous trick shot, allegedly done by a Japanese monk, involves using a cutting arrow to shoot the entire hand off an enemy. And according to the Indian legends of the Mahabharata, the most famous archer ever, Arjuna, once hit a rotating fish in the eye after shooting it while only looking at its reflection. In the Mahabharata, hitting the arrow of an opponent happens rather regularly. When Lars hit an arrow in flight for the first time, it was a pretty wild experience. After having done it many times, though, it was time for something wilder. Turning again to the Mahabharata for inspiration, he happened upon a story about a hero shooting a machete out of the air. Having a machete thrown at you is very uncomfortable, as it rotates and only stops if struck in the middle. But if war archery is so fantastic, why did it disappear? A gunman can avoid an arrow, but you cannot dodge a bullet. So even if early guns were slow to load, they were still better than bows in that respect. Guns also became able to fire faster, and today the bow has zero value as a weapon. Archery is still fun, however, and that's reason enough to practice. And of course, when you're pretending the zombie apocalypse is happening, a bow is pretty useful.